Here I will show you how to load and use AsheDesign Photoshop brushes. So let's get started. Let's go up to Edit and down to Presets and into our Preset Manager. Now from here there's a drop-down menu where you can load all sorts of presets, but we're going to stay in brushes. So let's go over to Load and let's navigate to the brush you want to install. I'm going to choose the AsheDesign Smoke brush today. And that'll bring it in, and you can see it ended up putting it down here at the end of your brushes. I'm going to drag this up so it's at the beginning of my brush menu, and I'm going to click Done. Now when I come down, my brush is chosen here. When I click on my brushes, you'll see that this folder is just above. It's at the very top of my brush menu. And we can go ahead and select a brush, so let's start with Smoke 1. Now that that is selected, you want to make sure that your foreground color, it's up to you. I like to work in variations of light gray, so let's maybe start somewhere down here. Okay, and then we're going to add a new layer. And now that your brush is selected, and you can see that's your brush shape, now we're just going to lightly press and drag it, and that will start creating your smoke. We'll just kind of let that finish out some. Now I like to build these layers, so there's layer 1. I'm going to add another layer, and I'm going to choose a different smoke brush. Let's maybe try Smoke 3. And then we can come over here, and I'm going to make this maybe a little bit bigger. So let's increase the size of our brush, and we'll drag it from this side just a little. And I always just sort of, press down just a little bit to build them. You can always go back and add more, and you can see how that's sort of built in there a little bit. And maybe I'll put just a little bit over here because this has a different shape to it, and I just like how that builds on there. The next thing you can do, if you want to sort of get a little more definition in here, let's go back to layer 1. Let's add a layer mask, and we still have our smoke brush selected, and we're painting with black, so we're in the layer mask, and I'm going to again reduce the size of this brush somewhat, and now we're going to paint out some of that smoke. And it's really nice because this will give you some depth, and you can just play around with this, just touch it. You can press down a little harder, and it'll give you a little more definition in there. And the next thing I also like to do is duplicate the layers. So let's say you like the smoke, but you'd really like it to be maybe a little more dense. So let's duplicate the layer, and that's really going to pump up the smoke in that area. And from this you can actually take and you can reduce your fill to where it just sort of fits nicely within your composition. And that's basically it. Just experiment with all of your smoke brushes, layer them on top of your images so that you can adjust them to your taste.